filled with several controversies since his hiring in January, including the latest report I just mentioned, physically kicking a player. His 13 games are the fewest by a non-interim head coach in Jaguars history. Dan, I will start with you. Why did Urban Meyer fail in the National Football League?
Two reasons. Number one, Urban Meyer's a bad dude. And then number two, in the NFL, Urban Meyer's a bad coach. That's why he got fired. You know, the saying that what you do in the darkness will always come out in the light is why Urban Meyer got fired. You reap what you sow. And obviously a lot of the conversation about Urban Meyer when he got hired and people trying to say of his college background that, hey, there's some red flags here, we should have paid attention to more. Shad Khan should have paid attention to more. He's obsessed with power. That does not fly in the NFL. It is a we over me type of mindset in the NFL. In college football, he always had power. Before NIL, he had power over players. He was obsessed with intimidation. He was always able to intimidate 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old players to do exactly what he wanted. And I would guarantee that there's players that he did stuff to or said stuff to that were just too scared to come out and say stuff because of his power. He never adjusted. The NFL, he never adjusted his mindset in the NFL of, you've got to kind of fight through losing while also striving towards winning. You lose more in the NFL than you ever did, or he did certainly in college. Trevor Lawrence got worse as the season went on. He was hired because his job, or one of his jobs, was to make Trevor Lawrence better. Trevor Lawrence got worse as the season progressed on. He's a finger pointer. He was always blaming everybody else. I never once heard him take accountability during his time as the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. And I'd say the last part is this. He inherited a poor culture in Jacksonville and made it worse in 6 months. But I think the most important thing is this. He's a bad dude, and he's a bad NFL coach.
Molly, let me follow up on Dan for a second. And I'd like to come up with some other adjectives other than bad dude. I'll try liar, fraud, you name it, because that's who Urban Meyer is. And what's amazing to me is that Shad Khan didn't know any of this. I don't know what it takes to become an NFL owner. I know you have to have $1 billion, and I know you have to be a moron sometimes when it comes to hiring personnel, because I see it all over the NFL. And this was one of the worst hires I think we have seen in recent history. And that's really saying something, because every single sign was there. You know, go back to Florida when Urban Meyer crashed and burned down there. Look at the mess that was left behind that they're still trying to dig out from. Look at what happened 3 years ago at Ohio State with the Zach Smith situation, when Urban covered up for someone who was accused of all kinds of abuse of his wife, an assistant coach. And here it is again. But Shad Khan had to do what all these egomaniacs do: win the press conference, go out and bring the biggest and the baddest coach from wherever, and it was doomed for failure. It almost never even got off the ground with the controversy over the strength and conditioning coach, and then just follow the bouncing ball. So nobody really should be surprised, and nobody who knew Urban Meyer very well. Obviously, Shad Khan didn't, other than a couple of fancy dinners, should be at least at all surprised by this. Urban Meyer can't deal with people. He is a soulless man who cannot listen to criticism, who cannot be talked back to, who can't even be talked to, period. So he's getting what he deserved. I know the questions are going to bounce around about what happens next. I'm sure there's a million colleges who will scoop him up. I don't think so. I mean, as bad as college football is, I don't think there's a legitimate president. I say legitimate because there may be some illegitimate dude running around out there who wants to do the same thing Shad Khan did, who will bring him in. I don't know how he can pass the mustard. So whatever happens to Urban Meyer, I wish him well. But thank goodness the NFL is rid of him.
Let me say this. First of all, you kicking another player. Ugh. I'm telling you right now, if a coach ever tried to come at me with something like that, Lord have mercy, boy, it would have been going down right there on the field, because to me it just points to respect.
Yeah.
And when you talk about Urban Meyer, see the difference between the college level and the pro level, guys on the pro level don't give a damn what you did in college. And Urban Meyer was just as accomplished as any coach we've ever seen on a college level. But in the pros, guys don't care about that. Guys want to know, okay, what can you do to help me become a better player? What can you do to put me in position to be the best player that I can be? And that has to be earned. And so when you look at the timeline when Urban Meyer came in, think about this. When you're trying to earn the respect of grown men, first you go hire this strength coach from Iowa who had all this baggage, this racist baggage, and intimidating black players at the Iowa program. That's strike number one. Then you go and you bring in Tim Tebow, who we all love, to play a position that he's never played, okay? So you're talking about guys in the locker room looking at this whole situation and thinking, wait a minute, why are you bringing in a guy at the age of 32 to play a position he's never played in his whole life? You're trying to earn the locker room, earn guys' respect, and those are a couple things that you've done. Fast forward. Okay, you play a game on Thursday Night Football against the Cincinnati Bengals. You lose that game. Instead of flying back with your team like all the other coaches do in the National Football League, you decide to stay in Columbus because, it just took such a heavy toll on me. But come to find out, you booed up with some girls in the bar that you own instead of flying back with your team. And then obviously the last thing is the whole incident with Josh Lambo, the kicker. So for me, I'm surprised that this didn't happen much earlier as far as Shad Khan getting rid of Urban Meyer, because there were a litany of things that could have caused this whole thing to transpire. And I just go to just the lack of respect of Urban Meyer as far as the pro level, what it takes to earn the respect of guys on this league. To me, it's just unacceptable.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.